focusing on getting our posture set up. So if you're lying down, great. If you're seated, that's cool too. Just kind of check in with yourself and make sure you're as comfortable as you can be. And if you need to make any adjustments to be more comfortable, now's a really good time to do that. So, the other thing I like to do when I'm kind of gauging my level of comfort for practice is make sure I'm not over tensing anything. So pay attention to what your hands are doing. Maybe soften and relax those a little bit. If you can drop the shoulders and soften them a little bit, that'll help too. And then the other place where tension tends to creep in is also in our jaw and in our face. So try not to clench or hold the jaw too tight. That can, all those places can kind of build up tension that you might not notice. So give yourself a little reprieve from that. Then let the hands find a soft place to land by your side, in your lap, place where they're not going to be really doing a lot of moving. And then the eyes can close, and that kind of sets us up for the work we are doing today. This is an opportunity for us to slow down a bit and pay attention to what's going on with it within us, within our body, within our breath. So I think a lot of times meditation is often seen as a way of getting rid of challenging thoughts or um, uncomfortable feelings. And I like to teach a practice in which we're not necessarily getting rid of them. We're investigating them. We're paying attention to them. We are learning from them instead of letting them hijack us. They become parts of our practice that we investigate. And they inform what is called the ground truth of practice. How and what created the sense of overall well being you're experiencing in each moment. So, the first thing I'll ask you to consider tonight is exactly what are you coming into practice with? What is the truth about how you're feeling in this moment? As we allow that question to kind of linger in the space, know that there's not a right answer. It's more of listening for what feels natural to you. In my case, I'm tired today. I know that about myself coming into practice. So I know how my mind will be colored and affected potentially. These are the things we're learning. Our practice will move us through a bit of mindfulness to further deepen that curiosity I just described. And then we're going to contemplate or explore a question around flourishing and how that appears in our lives and in our bodies and looking for evidence of it in our practice. So it's kind of where we're headed. Taking a moment as you're sitting here in what we call an open awareness, just taking in the sounds and the smells and the temperature and the textures and the feeling tones and the speed or the pace of your mind. It's as if you're taking a 50,000-foot view at everything happening. and observing all of the moving parts of your experience, you can see how things shift and change, how they interconnect and weave into one another. You might even feel and notice the space that you have for all of this to kind of take place and unfold. The way the mind is curious about the way you're receiving practice today. Letting our attention move from this very open spotlight and letting it softly land on the breath. It's not that we're bearing down on paying attention to our breathing. It's like 25% of our attention is just noticing where the breath originates, where it starts, and then feeling it move through the body. Now, when we hold our attention in one space, like on the breath, we are bound to get distracted, pulled into story or into our body or just away from the act of paying attention to your breathing. And this is where the meditation really begins. This is where you become more skilled at being mindful, is to notice the distraction and with a bit of kindness, bring your attention back to where you want it to be, back to the breath, seeing if you can observe the way the breath flourishes and grows with each inhale and each exhale. allowing our attention to kind of expand to feeling the body. A natural pathway for that is to let the breath move into the space of the body, and you can use the breath to almost move through the body, scanning it, breathing into each space and location in the body while paying attention to any sensations that might be present or anything else that might be arising, growing, building in the moment. So allow your attention to move down to your feet, breathing into that space, noting sensations found there in the feet. Moving into the legs, feeling their weight if you're lying down, the way they're held and supported, the way they keep you rooted and grounded with your feet firmly planted if you're seated. Visualizing the breath moving through these sections of the body. Into the hips, feeling the breath in the torso. It's kind of natural origin point. Letting the attention and breath move through the arms and hands. Trying to remain feeling what the body is presenting rather than slipping into a thought of what you should be feeling. Moving the attention into the neck and into the head. Allowing your attention to soften from the breath and remain with what's happening in the body. Noticing the way the body flourishes naturally on its own, where things are kind of bubbling up, building up, the size and the texture of the sensations you feel, the weight, the pressures, the temperatures, the way they dissolve and reemerge. Allowing yourself to be mindful of the stories that sometimes will occur and arise when paying attention to the body. The goal is that we try to remain neutral and observe just what the body's doing in the moment rather than lean into how our body should be or how we wish our body was, to be clear about the ground truth of what's happening right now. And can you allow an opportunity to welcome in a bit of gratitude by letting the mind focus on one thing that you're grateful for in this body, and then letting yourself see how that lands. And giving our attention to being mindful of what's happening with the breath and with the body, we can become mindful of the emotional or feeling state that the body is in this moment. Maybe it's similar to what it was when you started practice, or maybe it's slightly shifted. But be curious in noticing the feeling tone that's growing and changing in this moment. As you're working your way through practice, you may find that sometimes when I provide a prompt that there's nothing that really arises. Notice that too. Notice any stories that come with that. Notice any desires to have it be different because nothing is arising in that moment. And then notice what actually is happening and allow your attention to remain there. letting your attention simply be open to all the experiences that are coming and going in this moment. As we consider contemplating on this idea of what is flourishing in your life in this moment, to let the question linger for a moment. What is flourishing? And see how the body responds to it. As the question remains here in the space of awareness, and it's moving through the mind, and you feel it in your breath, and you notice the parts of the body that might tense or react to it. Know that you may not like the answer that arises. And if that is true for you, that we meet that with a bit of compassion and understanding. And we're reminded that in any given moment, we're simply doing the best we can, and that it's okay. And then we take it a breath and a moment at a time. In this way, we're simply making friends with ourselves. We're befriending all parts of our experience. We're allowing an opportunity to be patient with ourselves, to be understanding, to give ourselves a pat on the back that life is hard and we are doing it the best that we can. And that's good enough. allowing your attention to simply return back to feeling your body and feeling your breath. To remain mindful. As we begin to bring our practice to a close, consider a bit of gratitude for all the work you experienced today. To show up and to sit and to pay attention, in some cases, is a very courageous thing. Because within us is a world of experiences, ones that are shifting and moving and changing pretty much on their own. And to explore those and to understand them and to make peace with them is no easy task. When you're ready to exit the practice, simply start to move the hands, maybe wiggle the toes. Let everything kind of naturally come back online and start to take in the remainder of your visual field, your overall experience, and simply note where you're at.